Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing one of the most exciting watches available from FP Journe, my personal favorite Journe model in its best configuration, at least to my eyes. This is the FP Journe Chronometre Optimum Black Label. 40 millimeters in platinum, it features the characteristic Black Label exclusive tandem of a black dial and a platinum case. Now, the Black Label is available only at FP Journe Boutique and Espace. In addition to that restriction, you must be a provable prior buyer of a new FP Journe watch, so it is doubly restricted. One final measure of restriction: only 2 examples of any given model may be made Black Label per year. Get it? Got it? Good. This watch is a monster. Now, it's not a monster in size. At 40 millimeters, the watch is a reasonable 9.6 millimeters thick by 48 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Taking a quick look at the watch on my wrist, it is comfortable. You can see that these Journes have nicely curved lug tips, so even if you are borderline size-wise, it's never going to look like it's flaring out over the edge of your wrist. Now, you can see I have plenty of clearance on both sides, and though this is considered to be one of the larger Journe watches, nevertheless, it feels like something you could wear on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. It would easily slide underneath the cuff, and you can see down the barrel, I have just tons of clearance. Over the top, exactly the same. The strap fitted is a handsome one. As you can see, this is an FP Journe factory strap, black with a contrasting red stitch. It has curved spring bars that allow the lugs to be drilled close to the case, and yet the strap has no impediment, full freedom of motion because of that curved spring bar. It also uses pull tab spring bars, so you pull the tab with your nail, the strap comes off, no tools required. And then there is a platinum pin buckle for easy on-the-fly adjustments. You can see this strap is exceptional in its use of gator on both sides. Large rectangular scale gator on the top, semi-gloss black with a folded edge, and then small round scale on the back. Gator on both sides means it is a longer lasting and more expensive strap. This watch is worth it. The case is simple. If you know Journe, then you already know this form. The mid-case is fluid with integrated Calatrava-style blended lugs, no stepped-out Longa-style lugs here. Everything's in high polish, and then, of course, you have this overlap of the bezel and the case back, those 2 overlapping lips defining the mid-case, with the bezel being domed. Journe builds his dials, his cases, and his movements all. So this is a manufacturer product through and through. The characteristic Journe double dimple knurled crown, giving weight to a dial that is matte black. Now, inboard, you have the famous FP Journe dial side bolts, an original styling feature of Journe watches dating from the late 90s. At first, it was questioned, later universally copied. Journe has not just been an extraordinary engineer and innovator, but also a trend-setting designer, and that is probably his most uncredited and unrecognized role in the watch industry. Now, here we have a power reserve indicator that stretches from 0 to 40, and then you can't see the remainder. It will in fact run for 70 hours, but for 45 hours, it will run with constant balance amplitude. So you want to make sure you keep that hand within the scope of the listed numerals. And like a marine chronometer, it indicates 0 when fully wound. So that's why it is moving backwards as I wind the watch. Now, you will have noticed that the dial side counterpart of the remontoire escapement went from sweeping to jumping seconds as I wound this up. After 45 hours, the constant force device, a linear spring and separate escapement, will actually deactivate the watch to keep it running. For 45 hours, it is everything it's cracked up to be accuracy-wise. Until 70 hours, from 45 hours, it just keeps itself running. So remember to wind this watch at the same time every day. There's a black polished steel bezel that frames the hours, the minutes, and the sweep seconds. When we turn this watch over, you will see that there is actually a deadbeat second. Now, this deadbeat second is a consequence of the way the remontoire works. You can see that linear titanium blade. There's also a second escapement hidden underneath these wheels. Once every second, it takes the energy from the 2 main spring barrels, and it distributes that 1 second worth of energy to the escapement, which has no Swiss lever. It has 2 direct impulse unlubricated titanium escape wheels. Each one impulses the balance in one direction, its current direction of travel. It is free sprung for durability, adjusted in 6 positions, 1 more than a standard chronometer, and it includes an overcoil hairspring, which is a feature found on only a few top-of-the-line Journe watches. Overcoils are not universal on Journe timepieces. They tend to be included only on special chronometry-focused models, and this is one of them. So you have the 2 mainspring barrels for even torque release, the remontoire to buffer, prevent too much or too little balance amplitude as the state of wind of the barrels changes. That's the constant force device. Then you have the double direct impulse system inspired by Breguet's natural escapement of 1802. This reduces friction and increases power reserve. Then you have the free sprung architecture, the 6-position adjustment, one more than Journe's standard on the Octas, and then you have the overcoil hairspring so that the hairspring will breathe or beat concentrically in any orientation with respect to gravity. This movement, which features 44 joules, is made of 18-karat rose gold, so with a platinum watch and a solid rose gold movement, the heft is considerable. Cote de Genève across the bridges, satination on the wheels, mirrored beveling, which is getting better and better on Journe watches on the edge of every bridge, black polished stud holder. The watch also features engine turning on the base plate and a 30-meter water resistance, but it's a dress watch. Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.